Alright, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Ore Banwo. In this channel, we talk about finances, investing, so you get the gist. I'm an accounting major in the United States, and I'm just kind of interested in this kind of stuff. And I think this YouTube channel could be fun, and people could learn different things. Today, I'm going to talk about the single most practical thing when it comes to being financially responsible. Being financially responsible is not sexy. It's all it is responsible and actually kind of transformational. And this is budgeting. It's not something everybody likes to do, but I think it's quite shocking the amount of people I know that don't budget. And to me, that's ridiculous if you want to be financially responsible. So the reason why I think that it's so important is because it builds accountability, it gives you straight feedback, and it gives you control. There's nothing more important than control over your finances. And this is why budgeting is the most practical thing and is the easiest thing to do now for your financial journey. And I'm going to guide you through how it is, what to do when budgeting. So the first thing I would say is you get your last month's expenses and you separate it from necessary to unnecessary. And this is tailored to everyone. So at least for me, necessary are my phone bills and subscriptions. Like and haircut. So, yeah. But those are really necessary costs. And then there's the unnecessary. And then once you do that, you have to separate them into categories. And then you estimate what is reasonable. So you know what you have spent from last month, and now you have to estimate what was it reasonable to spend that much in a certain thing. So did you go out to eat so many times last month? Did you even actually enjoy the food? So how much do you think is reasonable to spend on each category? So for me, I have miscellaneous, haircut, subscriptions, savings, transportation, just to give you a sense of the stuff I have in my own budget. And I have an estimate for what I think is responsible or reasonable to the amount of money I have. Okay, so, and then the next thing you want to do is that once you've done all that, you want to evaluate what you do for the first month. Because now the first month is when you actually have a goal for the first time ever, I'm guessing. So you estimate what you want to save from the amount of money you believe you will get from next month. So now you have different categories. Now you know what is necessary, what is unnecessary, and now you have a saved and an unsaved part. So now, once you know what you want to save, now you evaluate the parts you did not save. And I think it's very important this first month because now you are under the mindset that I need to be able to save this amount of money or not draw on this amount of money for this month. So once you evaluate yourself this month, now you know what is actually reasonable. Maybe you need to go increase the groceries. Maybe you need to take down transportation. But this first month is evaluation. And then now you have an idea of yourself. Now I think is when you need to really set your budget and stick to it. And there's different things that I think you should keep in mind when you're doing budgeting. So the first one is do not shock budget. So I don't have yearly goals for my budget. I just have monthly goals. And those monthly goals help me to be responsible each month. Because it's easy to think about, okay, in the year, let's just say I want to save $100. And first month, I don't do anything. I'm like, okay, March I will save. You are basically pushing the responsibility to another time, and you will not get to that goal. So it's best to budget little by little and watch yourself as you go on. The second thing I would say, you have to invest part of your savings, because you need to be able to be defensive with your savings, but also be able to grow these savings. And I think investing gives you an incentive to actually save money, because if the money just sitting down there all the time, you might draw on it, but when you invest in it, you might get a good return. you might, because there is risk in investing. And the third thing is that you have to save first, spend later. So a lot of people spend, and then what they have at the end of the month is what they save or try to save. I think that is a totally bad mindset. So what you need to do, you need to save first, then spend after. Because psychologically, once you save first, you don't want to be a loser and take part of that savings afterwards. Unless it is completely necessary, you don't want to save, you take out of that savings you already did, because you're kind of admitting to yourself you lost. And then the last thing I would say is you need to leave an amount that you can spend on whatever you want. So at the end of the month, I find out the number apart from my savings that I have left. So usually I can either save it, or usually every month I have such that I'm going to do this, use it to buy something I usually wouldn't buy or isn't part of the budget. So I think that's very important because it gives you a reward for doing your budgets properly. And to a lot of people, a budget is not something they would look at, because it's not something that comes to your mind when you think about finances. But budgeting is really important. So as for me, for example, when I first started doing this, I saw different things for my own budget. So I saw that my groceries, I was always meeting my grocery targets. By the end of the month, I was always hungry. At the end of the month, I didn't have food to cook. But I saw that my transportation and my eating out were always in the red. So I felt like there was a relationship between the two of them. So if I increase my grocery budget, I would spend less on transportation and eating out, because to me it just makes more sense dollar-wise to eat more from groceries, because they're just cheaper than actually eating out. So once I made that change, increased the amount I actually spent on groceries, I saw that I was spending less overall. The second thing is that I had overdrafts at some point, and to me that's just embarrassing. So I went from overdraft to no overdraft, just through discipline. I just wanted to make sure that I met the goal. And the third thing is that I know what to do with new money I get, because I already have a picture of my budget. Once I get new money, I understand what parts of my budget I'm going to put it in, or if I'm just going to save it all through. And then the last thing is that it gives me discipline, because I don't want to lose to my budget. That is why I think psychologically and also helping you to stay in control is very important to your finances. You are never going to be shocked, and each month you're going to find out more about yourself. And then you have the discipline to say no to stuff that you usually spend on, because you don't want to lose. And to me, this mindset has been very beneficial, and I've seen the benefits from seeing this kind of feedback from budgeting. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. See you later.